Hello and welcome to Mary Beth Yoga. Today we have a yoga series for digestion, just in time for the holidays. We're going to begin by grounding into this space with some deep breaths. So I welcome you to take some deep breaths with me. Perhaps aim for a 6-second inhale and 6-second exhale, but do move at your own pace. Inhale. And exhale. And then a few at your own pace. Next, we're going to inhale our arms up and exhale through prayer position. Inhale up and exhale, prayer. Inhale up and exhale, prayer. Now we're going to inhale up, exhale, twist to your right. Inhale up to center and twist left. 2 more times on each side. Inhale up and exhale. Inhale up. Exhale, twist. Inhale up. Exhale, twist. Inhale up. Exhale, twist. Inhale back to center. Now we're going to briefly come to table and then we're going to push up into downward facing dog. So your hips lift up. Your knees can be bent or straight. Heels are headed towards the floor. Then we're going to flow through a sun salutation. So come to the top edge of your mat. You can begin in forward fold and then inhale your arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Hands on the shins or the thighs. Exhale, hands to the mat. Step back, lower down to your belly. Inhale up. And exhale, down dog. Take an inhale or two here. Then we're going to come into 3-legged dog. Our right leg comes up. And then we're going to bring your right knee to your right elbow. And then back up. Now our knee is going to come to our nose. And back up. And now the knee over to the left tricep, or left elbow. Back up. We're going to come into a low lunge. So your right knee is coming forward. Your right foot is planted on the ground. Your left foot is back. The left knee is lifted. You're here in a low lunge. And then we're going to do a twist. So left palm comes down. Right hand is up to the sky. And twist. Right hand comes down, foot comes back. Back to downward dog, and then we're going to do this on the left side. Left foot comes up, 3-legged dog, left knee to left elbow, and back up. Left knee to nose, and back up. And then left knee to right elbow or tricep. Back up. Bring the left foot forward into a lunge. Stabilize yourself here. feeling the stretch along the front of your right thigh. And then we're going to plant our right hand on the ground and twist open with our left hand towards the sky. Come back down, step back into downward facing dog, and then walk or hop to the front of your mat. Let's lift our arms up and back down again. Come into a halfway lift, then plant your palms, step back, lower down to chaturanga or to the mat, upward dog or cobra, and back to downward dog. Now we're going to step our right foot forward into a high lunge. So your right foot comes forward. Make sure that you're stable here. Keep your left heel lifted and your hips are oriented towards the front edge of your mat. We're going to stay here for a few breaths. You can feel the heat building in the front of your left thigh and in the right leg as well. Next, we're going to go into a twist. So to do that, bring your hands together into prayer position at your heart. Take an inhale and then exhale, twist your left elbow over the right knee. Now you're going to inhale to lengthen and exhale to twist. We're going to stay here for a few breaths. If you lose your balance, that's fine. Just come back into the pose at your pace. Now we're going to come back through high lunge. Then bring your hands together. Open your hips towards the left side of your mat into warrior two. We're going to stay here for a few breaths before we move through humble warrior and repeat this on the left side. All right, left hand comes back, right hand comes up. Humble warrior. Cartwheel your hands down to the mat, step back into downward dog. Now bring your left foot to the front of the mat. Remember, the right heel stays lifted. You're going to come up into your high lunge. And stay here for a few breaths before we twist. All right, so hands come together at the chest. Feel free to reposition that back leg. You can bring it in a few inches if you need to. Inhale to lengthen, then exhale to twist. Few breaths here. Come back through your high lunge before you open up to the right side of your mat. Extend your arms into warrior two. Your left leg is still the one forward at this point. You're feeling the stretch through your hips and your thighs, building strength in your legs. Now left hand comes up, right hand comes back. Feeling the stretch along the left side of your body in Humble Warrior. And cartwheel your hands back down to the mat and step back into Downward Facing Dog. Next, we're going to move into Lizard. So now you're going to bring your right foot up and you're going to bring it to the outside of your right hand. You're going to feel a really deep stretch through your inner hips here. This is going to help warm us up for Sleeping Pigeon, which we'll move to in a bit. Next, we're going to step back into a side plank. So what you're going to do, keep your weight firmly in your hands. Step your right foot back on top of your left. Angle the outside edge of your left foot down. Move your weight into your left hand and right hand comes up. You can keep your gaze straight ahead or look towards the ceiling, whatever feels most comfortable for you today. We're going to stay here for another breath or two before we move to our left side. Right hand comes back down. Lift your hips back up into Downward Facing Dog. Then we're going to move our left foot up to the outside edge of our left hand. A few more breaths here before we move into side plank. Then step the left foot back, put your weight over in your right hand, and come up into your side plank with the right hand down, left hand up. Then we're going to roll back into our Downward Facing Dog. Next, we're going to bring the right leg towards the top edge of the mat. You're going to put your left foot behind your left wrist. Find a comfortable position with your left leg extended backwards. Your knee is facing down towards the mat, so your kneecap, your patella is resting on the mat. Your hips are oriented forward. Sometimes people like to put a blanket under that right hip if you feel like you're floating. We're going to stay here for a few breaths before we lower the chest down. To make this pose more accessible, you can bring your left foot closer to your hip. If you'd like to make it a bit more challenging, you can try to bring your right shin parallel to the top edge of your mat. Whatever feels good for you today. All right, then we're going to rest down into our Sleeping Pigeon. So you can come to your forearms, you can lower your head all the way down. We're going to stay here for 5 or 6 breaths today. Slowly start to lift yourself back up. We're going to step back through Downward Facing Dog. So curl your left toes under. Bring the right foot back. Feel free to walk it out here a bit. And then bring your left leg up towards the front of the mat. adjust your back extended leg, that right leg, remember knee pointed down. Your left foot is behind your right wrist. You can feel yourself melt into this position. We'll stay here for a few breaths before we lower down. Go ahead and relax down into the sleeping pigeon. And again, we'll stay here for about 5 or 6 breaths today. Gently lift yourself back up. We're going to step back into downward dog. Doing our final stretch here before we bring our knees down and come to our backs. So we're going to do a reclined figure 4. So come back on your mat. We're going to bring your feet to the mat, then your right leg is going to come in and cross your right foot over your left thigh towards the knee, and then weave your hands through to interlace your fingers behind your left thigh. Find whatever position is comfortable. You know, you can be up here, you can pull them down towards your chest, whatever feels good for you today. We're going to switch legs. So soles of the feet briefly come to the floor. Left leg comes in. Left ankle crosses over the right thigh towards the knee. Hands interlace. Pulling back, feeling that opening in your hips. Feet come back to the floor. We're going to do a reclined twist for our final pose. So extend your left leg out, bring your right knee in, twist your right knee over your body towards the left, extend your left arm as well as your right, and move your gaze towards the right side. A series with lots of twists is great the day after a holiday meal or the weekend after a large holiday meal. And return your body back to its state of equilibrium. And return to center. Extend the right leg. Bring the left knee in. Twist your left knee over towards your right side. Extending both arms and turning your gaze back towards the left side. Let's bring our legs back in. Hug your knees in before extending your legs out to Shavasana. The palms are facing up, lying parallel to your body. Let's start to awaken back from our Shavasana. Move your fingers and your toes. Roll over to one side. Push yourself back up. Thank you for spending time taking care of yourself and for spending time here with me at Mary Beth Yoga. Namaste.